What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. I hope you guys have all had a great Wednesday. I hope you guys are ready for a live 2023 fantasy football draft. Tonight we are hopping into a weekly winners draft through Underdog Fantasy, and I'm going to go through what has become my favorite strategy for this particular tournament. We're going to have some fun tonight, man. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on the way in. Whether you guys are new to the channel or not, hit that like button on the way in. Do all that good YouTube stuff. Really appreciate it. But more importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football topics you guys want to go over tonight? Redraft, Dynasty, or Best Ball? Throw it in the live chat. Any NFL topics? Throw it in the live chat. Like I said, as always, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football tonight. And, of course, you can double your first deposit up to $100 on Underdog Fantasy with promo code The Catch. If you guys do want to draft with me tonight, I'm hopping in right now. We're not going to waste any time. So, weekly winners tournament, $15 entry, 30 seconds per pick. I'm in the lobby. There are 5 spots. Fill them up. Come draft with me. Okay. Let's go ahead before I kind of, I'll go through my strategy as the draft goes on tonight. But let's go ahead and just quickly talk about one or two things that happened today. We have New York Jets wide receiver Denzel Mims now being traded to the Detroit Lions for a 6th-rounder. Or Detroit sends a conditional 6th-rounder for the Jets. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. For the Jets, 7th-rounder in 2025. Whatever. Either way, Denzel Mims headed to the Lions. We were just talking about this other night. Like, the Lions wide receiver core is so thin. So I'm glad that they're getting some help. It might not be the best help, but it's some sort of help. So we had that happen today. Outside of that, the Patriots did work out free agent running backs Leonard Fournette and Darrell Henderson. So Ramondre Stevenson on the thumbnail tonight because there's a lot of panic around Ramondre Stevenson. If you have a lot of best ball shares of Ramondre, for example, or if you own him in Dynasty. Some people out there who are a little bit panicked over this move. Obviously, Bill Belichick maybe not 100% happy with his options in terms of depth at the running back position behind Ramondre Stevenson. We all kind of assumed going into the year that Pierre Strong would be completely fine. You've had Ty Montgomery, who, there are some people speculating, was going to have, this receiving role on the team out of the backfield. And then even Kevin Harris potentially getting some snaps, too. Vegas has the betting favorites to land Dalvin Cook as a New England Patriots. So a lot of buzz around the Patriots backfield. It sucks, because it looks like one way or another they're going to bring in another running back. Don't know exactly who it's going to be. And we kind of had this feeling that we were finally going to get a year of New England Patriot football in terms of fantasy with a straight up running back, workhorse running back in the mix. And what do you know? It's Bill Belichick. We're probably not going to get that. So we'll see how it pans out. Dalvin Cook would be the biggest issue in my mind to Ramondre Stevenson owners. I would put Fournette next because of the goal line work he can steal. And then Henderson. But I'm not underestimating Darrell Henderson if he's fully healthy. But we had that going on today. You have Breece Hall on the PUP list. You have Isaiah Pacheco, I think, off of the preseason PUP list. Guys, both those guys, had injuries towards the end of last year or had surgery the offseason. They're going to be on the PUP list. They can be removed at any point. The bigger, wait another month or so before, you panic on Breece Hall in particular. If you drafted Breece Hall in a startup mock, for example, or you've been drafting him in best ball drafts, you should have expected this. He's coming off a major injury. So don't worry too much about the PUP list news that's going to happen. There's my updates for you. Okay, here we are. We are headed in to tonight's draft. Weekly winners. My favorite strategy. Okay. Sorry, I need to pull up the schedule for next year because that's going to be important here. There we go. Okay. Here's what we're going to be doing when we're entering this tournament. You're going to look through the upcoming season schedule, and you are going to pick a particular week. And you are going to pick a week in which you believe there are good matchups, overall matchups that you can exploit within your draft. J-Dubs is drafting next to me. Let's go. So for me, I have been targeting week 5 of this coming season. Okay, there are a lot of matchups in week 5 that I really like. This is a really simple strategy. Like, it's not even that compelling, you know? Sorry, I'm trying to prepare for this first pick here, and then we'll kind of keep diving into how my strategy is going to go here. But, you know, looking at the available players, week 5, Stephon Diggs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like that matchup a lot. Bijan, who just went, has the Texans in week 5. Absolutely love that. CeeDee Lamb has the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb tonight. I've done a couple of drafts with this particular strategy, so I am trying to kind of switch up exposure here and there. So let me take a look here. Jalen Hurts is playing the Rams. So if I can land Hurts at pick 15, I'll be happy with that. I am not afraid to go early quarterback in this route. But let's see here. Amon-Ra St. Brown plays the Panthers. Not awful. Adams has the Packers. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Revenge game. But I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here against the Rams. I don't think that defense is going to be very good this year. So this is essentially all we're doing, right? We're picking a particular week. Pull up the NFL schedule. Okay, here's week 5 for you guys. Bears at Commanders, Thursday Night Football. I like that matchup. I think that's easy to exploit overall. I don't love Thursday night matchups in terms of like building best ball teams, doing pick'ems, betting, anything like that in general. But I feel like that's a pretty juicy matchup. Now, Jaguars at Bills, I like this matchup as well. But it is a 9:30 in the morning game for us here in the United States. I don't know exactly if this is a London game, but I believe it's a London game. Either way, those games get a little weird, but it's still a good matchup overall. And like, I'm not particularly looking at bad defenses. I'm looking at games that could also just be high scoring. Jaguars, Bills, good offenses. I like that. Saints, Patriots, like that game, I don't like that much. I feel like those are pretty stingy defenses. At least going by last year, and that could always change going into the following year. Titans, Colts, and that feels like a messy game. But that's good probably from a best ball perspective. Ravens, Steelers, I don't love that matchup. Panthers, Lions, like I feel like that could be a really good matchup to exploit, or it could end up being like not that great, right? Texans, Falcons, like J-Dubs goes Bijan at 1.9. If Bijan's available, I would take him all day long. Texans run defense probably not going to be much better compared to last year. Overall, I do like that matchup because it just feels like two sloppy young teams. Giants Dolphins could be a high scoring game. I like that. Bengals Cardinals. I have done a lot. I'll pull up a couple teams I've done with this strategy. The Bengals right now. I mean, like Burrow stacks with Chase, going out and getting Higgins, whatever it may be. Bengals, Cardinals, we know the Cardinals are not going to have a good defense this year. And vice versa, Cardinals playing from behind up against the Bengals, Hollywood Brown. I like this matchup. But Eagles, Rams, I really like this matchup in week 5. Okay, I don't think the Rams defense is going to be good. Jalen Ramsey's gone. Aaron Darnold's there, don't get me wrong, but I just like that matchup. Should be a good game. Jets, Broncos, I have been staying away from, though. That I don't love. I feel like the Jets, Broncos could be like a score of 9-3 or like 31-28. I don't know. It just spooks me. I feel like both those defenses could be very good in this particular matchup. Chiefs, Vikings. Love that. I mean, self-explanatory. Cowboys, Niners, good. Packers, Raiders, some good late round picks you can get. And we know the Raiders defense is going to be bad. If you guys are trying to exploit a particular week and the weekly winners, Raiders, Cardinals, Rams. Those are the defenses I'm going after going into next year. Okay, Vikings as well. So another reason why I like week 5 in particular is because you have a lot of good teams on bye week, which sounds kind of weird. But now when I'm drafting, I have a little bit of an advantage. Because if Keenan Allen is the top-rated wide receiver on the board, which he is right now, let me make this draft selection here. Let's go. What running backs are available very quickly? Okay, let's go Calvin Ridley here. Keenan Allen's a top-rated wide receiver, but I'm not even looking at him. Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen. I'm not looking at them at all because they're on bye week. So that creates an advantage for me within the draft because I don't even need to look at the top-rated players. They mean nothing to me. I am building a team purely based on my own strategy. And there's going to be a lot of teams here that are going to have players people are going to be going after. Browns, Chargers, Bucks. Good teams that I can just avoid as I build my squad overall. Chargers is kind of sad to pass on at times, though. Okay. This is kind of a tough pick. I was actually kind of hoping that Debo would fall out there. And I kind of want to go with another wide receiver here. But I actually feel like the best thing to do is take a running back. I'm going to take... Oh my gosh, I missed my pick. Oh my gosh, I hit click. No. Okay, the Raiders play the Packers. Hopefully Josh Jacobs is out there. Okay, well, I do actually like that matchup. So I'm not too upset about that. And I was going to go running back there. I just did not prefer Josh Jacobs. But I do like I said, the Raiders-Packers matchup. It's Monday Night Football game. So I'll take that. But yeah, I've just been hammering this strategy. And I think overall, picking one particular week does not have to be week 5. I've just found that week 5, the two advantages are I like a lot of the matchups personally. I feel like they're pretty easy to map out. Like you can get like some Giants players late. We talked about the Giants-Dolphins matchup, right? Jaguars, Bills, Texans, Falcons, Bengals, Cardinals, Eagles, Rams, Chiefs, Vikings. I just Packers, Raiders, Cowboys, Niners. I just like this week overall. And like I said, there's that particular advantage throughout the draft where I am not worried about quite a few teams because they're going to be on bye week in week 5. So, all right, let me pull up a couple teams for you guys that I have drafted with this particular strategy. Hopefully I don't mess up my pick again, but it'll be okay. All right, so here's a team, right? Trevor Lawrence with, hold on, let me do one thing here, sorry. With Christian Kirk, a little stack. Tua, which actually, I picked Tua here as a mistake. I remember that, but Tua in that Giants-Dolphins matchup. Pacheco, Gibson, Dillon, Harris, Foreman, Smith, Higgins, Kirk, Dobbs, Rashid Shaheed, Alec Pierce, MVS, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Travis Kelce, Hayden Hurst. So I think for the most part, we're hitting all of those matchups that I like. Devonta Smith versus the Rams, Higgins versus the Cardinals, Kirk versus the Bills, Dobbs versus the Raiders, Trevor Lawrence versus the Bills, right? Pacheco versus the Vikings, Antonio Gibson versus the Bears, Dillon versus the Raiders. Once again, Damian Harris versus the Jaguars, right? So, Kelce versus Minnesota. Here's another one. Burrow, Chase versus the Cardinals. Jones and Darius Slayton and Randall Robinson versus Miami. Kyler Murray, hopefully playing from behind. He's got no one with him, but he's on my team. Against the Bengals, right? Swift versus the Rams. I mean, I have quite a few of these. So, this one's got Hurts and A.J. Brown versus the Rams. Fields and DJ Moore versus Washington. So, overall, I just think that this is a good strategy. And like I said, it does not have to be particularly week 5. I've just been using that week. So, I know J-Dubs is in the chat. He's been using, there are a lot of people out there, don't get me wrong, who are picking one particular week and exploiting it. You know what I mean? But I just think that there's a lot of good opportunity within this tournament, and that it's something that we need to start taking a stronger look at. Okay, I'm not prepared for this pick at all. But Kenneth Walker sitting here, and he's on bye week. Yeah, that was one of the other teams. He's on bye week. So I'm not going to be taking him. I am going to go Trevor Lawrence, however. Yeah, that's the other thing. With these weekly winner builds, I will go quarterback early, and I will go double quarterback early, and I'm not bothered by it whatsoever. Because essentially, like, that's the other advantage. Like, if I'm just looking at week 5, there's not as much overall pressure on my roster. Like, my roster doesn't look good for the entire season, then I don't particularly care. As long as it looks good for week 5. All right, so let's take Hollywood Brown here, playing from behind against the Bengals. I can't believe I accidentally ended up here with Josh Jacobs, but these things happen, especially when I'm going over everything live, but it's all good. So, yeah. So far, we've got CeeDee Lamb versus the Niners, primetime game. Hurts versus the Rams. Ridley versus the Bills. Hopefully Jacobs versus the Packers. T-Law versus the Bills. And Hollywood Brown versus the Bengals. I like that start a lot. All right, let's see who's in the live chat. J-Dubs, what's up, man? Thomas, hello. Spence, what's going on, man? Burger Dog, what's up? Thursday night is prime rib special at Ale House, and I don't Amazon, so I could go that Thursday night game. Yeah, that would work. Perfect. Made for TV, what's going on, man? Good to see you. What's up? All right, so right now we're sitting 2 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers. So we got the stack with T-Law and Hollywood. I'm so sorry, T-Law and Calvin Ridley. Looking at a couple different things here. And we could even get a late round stack with Kyler Murray. So basically what I want to do here when I'm building my queue is just look purely at these matchups. So, I mean, I wanted another wide receiver there at 6.3, but one other selection that would have made a lot of sense is getting Dallas Goedert, because right now, like, I'm okay with just having Jalen Hurts by himself. You don't always have to have an available stack. Although I'm kind of tempted to take Dak Prescott on this team with CeeDee Lamb. But I could have gone Goddard with that last pick, or even gone Goddard over Hollywood Brown, then Goddard, and then gone Dak with my next pick. But I don't mind having, like, Jalen Hurts by himself. If it doesn't work out in week 5, like, that still gives me an advantage down the stretch, just having Jalen Hurts. But, right now I don't have Jalen Hurts with any of his pass-catching offensive players. And Goddard's the top-rated player, so I'm probably not going to get him. There's a small, tiny chance that DeAndre Swift falls out, but I highly doubt it. But we'll see. We go into the 7th round. And that's the other thing, like, we're specifically looking at week 5 in this example, right? But it doesn't mean that you're drafting, like, a bad team. Like, this is still a team that can compete throughout the year. Like, right now, like, we're targeting Eagles, Jaguars, Raiders, Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Bengals, Bills, Bears, like a lot of good teams. Vikings, Chiefs. I mean, not all these teams are going to be good. Giants, Dolphins, but they're going to be good from a fantasy perspective to some degree. We're still drafting good players. So, all right, so let me take a look here. I might have to go Evan Ingram with one of these next picks, which I'm okay with. And then, I mean, I'd like to get DeAndre Swift, but I mean, sometimes he gets passed on, so we might get lucky. But if not, I might just go James Conner or Pacheco. I don't mind Pacheco against the Vikings whatsoever. I actually like that quite a bit. So I'm going to get through these next 2 picks. There goes Swift. So top-rated running backs are Pacheco, Conner. See, like, I'm not looking at Rachaad White at all. He's on bye week. It's probably good for my overall exposure. It's been a pretty heavy running back draft, so I do probably want to go running back with this next pick. And Alexander Madison's long gone. I do really like Madison in this build because he gets the Chiefs, and they were not good against the run last year. And then vice versa, the Vikings were not good against the run. So let's go Pacheco. He gets the Vikings. Good matchup for us. Now we've got 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. And then I'm probably going to have to go Evan Ingram with this next pick, which probably puts me out of the race to get Dak Prescott, but he's also not really necessary. It just would be nice with the CeeDee Lamb pick on this team. But makes more sense to try and get Evan Ingram right now. You know, get us another Jacksonville player. If not, I mean, we could go like Antonio Gibson. Maybe with a wide receiver right here. Kind of like Treylon Burks, potentially. But yeah, we're going to go Evan Ingram here. He makes the most sense for this build. And I like this start a lot. So we've got Hurts against the Rams. T-Law, Ridley, and Ingram against the Bills. Jacobs against the Packers. Didn't mean to pick them, but it happened. Pacheco against the Vikings. Hollywood Brown against the Bengals. CeeDee Lamb against the Niners. I like it. All right. 8th round is underway. Tommy, what's going on, man? Could have stacked Hurts with Rashad Penny. Yeah, I just don't. I'm not as big on. I mean, Penny's still available at a pick. His ADP is 106, which is my next pick, so it's possible. Outside of that, there's probably not any options. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell late, I don't mind. Generally, I'm not going too crazy. Like, now that I have Jacobs and Pacheco, I'll probably take a little bit of a breather at running back, but there is a tier kind of coming up here that I like. You know, we could have Penny versus the Rams, Gibson versus the Bears, Dillon versus the Raiders, Damian Harris versus the Jaguars, Devon Achane versus the Giants, Brian Robinson versus the Bears. So there's some good picks there. McKinnon also available, and he gets the Vikings. So there's definitely some options here. Tyler Algier and Kenneth Gainwell late are kind of the guys I like. Algier would have the Texans. I literally have this week like memorized, kind of sad, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to go with another quarterback in this build. Right now, you know, I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, a good start at wide receiver, but I do need some wide receiver depth. So Sky Moore is not going to last, but he's who I prefer. He gets the Vikings. He won't be here at this next pick. Cortland Sutton's got the Jets. I don't like that. Tyler Boyd, I would consider just because he's playing the Cardinals. Alan Lazard's got the Broncos. I don't like that. Zay Jones, I don't want too much exposure to the Jaguars. I already have 3 players, but I have to consider him. Romeo Doubs against the Raiders, I like. Darnell Mooney against Washington, I like. I don't really like Jacoby Myers versus the Packers. Rondell Moore against the Bengals, playing from behind probably. I mean, you got Rashee Rice and MBS. KJ Osborne, I mean, I like that matchup overall. Consider all those guys. Rashid Shaheed, like, I don't like the matchup against the Patriots, but I will still consider him at some point. So, you know, that's the other thing is, like, if we're just specifically looking at 1 week, right? We're just looking at week 5. You don't have to worry as much about your overall depth. You know what I mean? Like, if you have Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence, only one of them is going to be your top scorer in week 5. If you have 3 wide receivers you really believe in, if it's CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, and Hollywood Brown, if they're all healthy and they're your top scorers for the week, those are your 3 starters. Or, you know, 2 at wide receiver and 1 at flex. If you really believe in Josh Jacobs and Isaiah Pacheco, who are my 2 running backs, then you don't have to worry about your overall depth. If they're going to be your top scorers and they're healthy and out there, then you don't have to have an extremely stacked wide receiver group, So it gives you a little bit more flexibility to take stud quarterbacks early, for example, or whatever it may be. I wanted Antonio Gibson pretty badly here. But I'm going to go A.J. Dillon because I like that matchup a lot against the Raiders. I think that Raiders defense going to be really bad next year. Really bad. Albert, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing good tonight. There goes Prescott. Stacked him with Cooks, it looks like. I'd like Damian Harris right here quite a bit, actually. All right, Penny's gone and Harris is gone. I'm going to go Tyler Boyd because I really like that matchup a lot, and I need another wide receiver. So I'll take Tyler Boyd here. He's not been my favorite guy to go out and draft, but he gets the Cardinals. It's a good matchup nonetheless. All right, so Kyler Murray's ADP is 158. He kind of moves around, but I don't really need to target him with one of these next two picks. And if I don't get Kyler Murray, it's okay. It's completely okay. I mean, I have Hurts and T-Law. I think I'm in a pretty good spot here. So right now, Hurts, T-Law, Jacobs, Pacheco, Dillon, CeeDee Lamb, Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Tyler Boyd, Evan Ingram. So I'm going to need another tight end at some point. But like I said, I'm not too worried about it because I think Ingram's going to be just fine and be out there for week 5. So like one guy I would like to get late here who kind of matches everything that we're doing is Trey McBride. Super late ADP, so I don't mind him. But I also like Cole Kmet late. So I like both those guys. Greg Dulcich, I don't mind him either, but he gets the Jets, not a great matchup. Dalton Kincaid I like. He probably won't be available, but he gets the Jaguars. We like that matchup overall. So we're sitting pretty good at tight end. I think we just kind of go for another running back and wide receiver for now. Andrea, hello. Thomas says Kincaid might pop off by week 5. Yeah, I have him in at least one of these builds because I just like that matchup. Jaguars-Bills. Sounds like points. Sounds like a fun game. You know what I mean? So, and that's the other thing. Like, the good thing about conducting strategies like this is, like, you get a little bit away from your own personal conviction. You're just purely looking at that specific week and those specific matchups, you know? So it's going to switch up your exposure a little bit. You're going to have some teams with players that you might not generally draft as much. You might pass on players that you draft in general, like for me, Rachaad White, Chargers players. So, you know, just looking at week 5 specifically, right? Chargers, Bucks are on bye, Cleveland Browns are on bye, the Seahawks are on bye. There are players on those teams that I have quite a few shares of. So, like, it's hard for me, you know, when I passed on Kenneth Walker, like, I hate that. You know? I think he's a great value in the 5th round. But just doesn't follow the strategy, you know? All right, a lot of good talent gone here. Zay Jones, Lazard, Dobbs, McKinnon, Mooney. There goes Kincaid. A-Chain's gone. Brian Robinson's gone. We'll see what we come up with here. We're at pick 130. So maybe I go Rondale Moore against the Bengals. And then maybe get a Chiefs or Vikings wide receiver. Goes Myers. Yeah, it's a weird pick. Let's go with Rashee Rice against the Vikings. Why not? Switch it up a bit. I like Rondale Moore, but I also am a little bit hesitant around him. MVS and KJ Osborne are the other picks. I think I'm going to reach a little bit at 135 because my running back room is a little slim. I don't quite know what's going to be around a couple picks here at the next turn. So I think I'm going to go Tyler Algier with this next pick, who gets the Texans. If that Texans run defense looks like it did this past year, then that could easily be a game where Bijan doesn't need to play as much, and Algier does get some snaps. I mean, the Falcons ran the football like, I don't know what the exact number is, but it was like over 150 times more than the league average last year. So there's going to be games where Algier is kind of a relief pitcher, so to speak. So I'll take him as, my RB4, give me a little bit of depth here. And even if he doesn't get a lot of snaps, like that could easily be a game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Texans did some good things in the draft defensively, but that could easily be a game where Algier just runs one in. You know what I mean? So as an RB4, I'm fine with that. Andrea, we are at pick 10. Sitting right next to J-Dubs. J-Dubs, you haven't really sniped me tonight. I mean, I wanted Bijan with that first pick, but other than that, I did like the Drake London pick. Other than that, man, I'm happy. You're not really, like, destroying my draft or anything. So, J-Dubs, are you looking at a specific week? Probably are. Let us know in the chat. Yeah, I liked MVS and KJ Osborne there as well. But, whenever you're doing a build like this, you want to switch it up here and there. Generally, I'd probably go, like, KJ Osborne, Tyler Algier, or KJ Osborne, and even MVS. I just want to switch it up a little bit. All right, so J-Dub's looking at week 3. Let's get that pulled up. Let's see. So you got Giants at Niners, Falcons at Lions. That is a nice matchup. Chargers Vikings is nice. Saints Packers, Texans Jags. I like that. Broncos Dolphins. Titans Browns sounds actually kind of fun. Bills Commanders, Colts Ravens, Pats Jets, Panthers Seahawks, Bears Chiefs. That's a nice matchup. Cowboys Cardinals, a good matchup. Steelers Raiders could be some good potential there. Literally like any Steelers offensive player. Eagles Bucks, Rams Bengals, Monday Night Football. Yeah, some good matchups there for sure. The one thing I will say is like I've done like 5 or 6 drafts right now centered around week 5. You probably do want to switch that up. Like like what if week 5 is just like really bad week in terms of scoring, or like it's just all these teams hit a wall, then like you have all this exposure to one week where offenses just don't play well, so you do probably want to switch it up here and there as well. All right, there goes Kyler. So he's out of the race, but I don't really care. It would have been nice because we have Hollywood and we're probably going to get Trey McBride late, so it just gives us another potential stack or whatever. But I'd actually like to get Cole Kmet with this next pick. And I think that's doable because you still have Schultz, Everett, and Higbee available. And Washington was pretty good against... Washington was very good against opposing tight ends last year. But I do think overall Cole Kmet is the top tight end for me right now. So I'll probably go ahead and try and take him here. I don't think J-Dub's going to take him. He's got Freiermuth and Nkonkwo, but I don't blame him being a Bears fan. I really didn't think you're going to take him. You have Fields, so it makes sense. All right, so I'll... let me see here. Schultz. Texans. Playing the Falcons. I'll go with Schultz. Why not? And then I'm probably going to go Kenneth Gainwell with this next pick, which will wrap up. We'll see if he's available. But that'll wrap up my running back room. If he gets taken, I'll just go with a Dolphins running back late. And then I'll essentially just draft wide receivers to finish this draft and maybe Trey McBride. Could have gone Tyler Higbee there, but he has the Eagles. I don't like that matchup as much. So we'll just see. If I get Gainwell here, that's fine. He's my RB5. Plays the Rams. I mean, I doubt Hurts is dumping one off to him, but it's available. Potential, I guess. So, yeah. We're looking pretty good here. 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 5 wide receivers. So now we really just want to purely look at those matchups overall in week 5. Alec Pierce is going to be gone, but he gets Tennessee. I like that. Any Giants receivers against, don't get me wrong, like the Dolphins are going to have a good secondary, but that just feels like a game that could have a lot of points. Richie James versus the Vikings, Randall Robinson, potentially Josh Palmer. Oh, no, Josh Palmer's on bye. I'm sorry. Terrace Marshall against the Lions, kind of like that. And we can still take some running backs here if it's the best option. I like Jeff Wilson against the Giants if he's there, Raheem Mostart, Donta Foreman against Washington. We're probably fine at quarterback, but if I did take another quarterback, it'd honestly probably be Jordan Love. I don't mind Brock Purdy against the Cowboys, but Jordan Love against the Raiders, if I can hit Jaden Reed and just like get a late round stack, that has some potential. But it's not like we grabbed Watson. I mean, we got A.J. Dillon early, so we have that exposure. But, the Luke Musgrave could be a late-round tight end. So, like, you're betting on 2 rookies there, which I don't particularly love. Yeah, those specific rookies at least. But it's still a potential stack at the end here. Jade, I was pretty happy with my QB picks for week 3. What we get here? Cousins, Fields. I like Fields a lot. But yeah, in general, both those guys probably fine. Yeah, Chiefs versus Bears. Komet was a good pick for you having Fields for sure. I didn't think you were going to go with him there, though. But I didn't really look at your whole team. I just looked at the fact that you had 2 tight ends. It was a good pick for you. Chargers versus Vikings. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 good picks for sure. What do you think about Denzel Mims going to Detroit? I mean, like, we talked about that wide receiver room the other night and how incredibly thin it is. So I like that. I mean, Denzel Mims hasn't really done much in his career. He doesn't even have 50 receptions in his career. So there's not a lot to go off of. They need a depth. It makes sense. Like, they know he can play. Like, he's better than a practice squad player, so it makes sense. They didn't give up a lot for him. Fantasy impacts, I'm not really betting on anything quite yet. But yeah, that wide receiver room is just so thin behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, Josh Reynolds can play a role, but like outside of that, you got Marvin Jones and Tom Kennedy, now Marvin Mims. So they need depth. And, like, I like this Lions team, and I still believe in them taking a step forward and everything, but, like, I don't know, like, if this offense is ready to be, like, top tier. Like, the run game will be good. They're going to be able to move the football, don't get me wrong. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get an incredible amount of targets. But ultimately, like, I just don't have... I don't know. They're just missing some depth overall. It kind of worries me. So, see what happens. I don't know. They made it work last year. It's not like it was much better. They had Chark there. So, and I mean, they had Hawkinson part of the year. I think Monty over Jamal and Gibbs over Swift is going to be fair enough. But I just think it's kind of one of those offseason moves that is probably not going to have a fantasy impact overall. But you never know. All right, so I might get kind of weird here. I'm going to go Jaden Reed because he has the Raiders. And then I think I'm going to try and go Jordan Love with this next pick. I don't know if we'll be there, though. Oh, yeah, this team's got one quarterback. He's going to pick Jordan Love. He does. Yeah. But that's okay. I still like Reed right there. So now, like, I really don't need 3 quarterbacks. Now I can go Jeff Wilson versus the Giants. Or take another wide receiver. I think I'm going to take another wide receiver, though. Let's take Paris Campbell. He gets the Dolphins. Good matchup. I mean, should be a good offensive matchup. Generally, when I'm taking a swing on one of these Giants wide receivers, it is Isaiah Hodgins first, then Darius Slayton or Jalen Hyatt for some upside. But I'm going to go Paris Campbell just to switch up my exposure tonight. And with these last 2 picks, I like Luke Musgrave, potentially, now that we're getting some exposure to Green Bay. So there's that option, a tight end. And I still like Trey McBride. So I might go with one of those 2 guys. And probably just the best available receiver. At this point in the draft, you don't have to stay tried and true to, your particular strategy. You kind of get to the point where it's like, I might just go best available player. But there's not much. Devonta Parker, McCole Hardman, Randall Robinson, Chase Claypool, Marvin Jones are the top available players. I mean, I'll probably just target Quez Watkins, which sounds disgusting, but, he does technically catch the football for the Eagles. And I do have Jalen Hurts on this team. Mims did get traded. It wasn't even that long ago, Tommy. It isn't. Let me see if there's an exact timestamp. I mean, the sleeper update is 2 hours ago. So 6 hours ago, the Jets did not release wide receiver Denzel Mims today, despite informing him of their plans. This keeps the possibility of a trade open. And that's what happened is they ended up trading him. Like I said, the timestamp on that 2 hours ago. New York Jets wide receiver Denzel Mims traded to the Detroit Lions. James, can I get a breakdown of my squad looking at my target week 3 after the draft for sure, bro? Are you tired of week 5 yet? No, I love week 5. Week 5 forever, bro. Yeah, J-Dubs and I have been coordinating and drafting some teams together off air and stuff, so it's been fun. Like I said, I have 5 builds now for week 5. I'll probably switch to another week after this. This team I don't mind, but it was not my overall favorite. And the Josh Jacobs accidental pick really threw us for a loop. I mean, even if I got ETN there, I would be a lot happier with this team. But at the same time, I don't mind this entry at all, just in conjunction with the rest of the entries that I have for week 5 specifically. All right, so I can't believe I'm really thinking about drafting Quez Watkins here. Just on the off chance that Hurts throws a touchdown to him. But, he has done very little in his career. I mean, he's really a blocking wide receiver. Oh, well. We'll see who's available coming up here. We did. The Komet pick, the Jordan Love pick. I guess that was all that really happened tonight. Kind of like Damian Harris right here. But I don't mind Rashee Rice. Only because he gets the Vikings. Overall, pretty good draft, though. But yeah, I would just, if you guys are thinking about doing any weekly winners drafts, Sit down, look at the schedule, pick a week that you like, get familiar with the matchups, try and exploit those matchups as much as possible. All right, Randall Robinson's a good pick there. Part of me is thinking about picking Zamir White right here, but I'm not going to do it. Just because I have Jacobs on this team. I'll go Trey McBride. And no one else is going to pick Quez Watkins. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Can I search Philly players? Yeah, I can. Oh, Zacchaeus. That's right. He's on Philly. Boston Scott. I mean, I could just pick Boston Scott. Yeah, there's like no options for Philadelphia players. For some reason, it's showing me all Miami's players as well. But yeah, I think I'm literally going to draft Quez Watkins, which is kind of embarrassing. But I'm going to do it. All right. Stick to your strategy, boys and girls. All right, J-Dubs, what did we come up with, man? Week 3, you said. So, let me pull up week 3. All right. The Bears are playing the Chiefs. So, that's great for Fields. Then you've got Kirk Cousins playing the Chargers. I like that matchup a lot as well. Yeah. 1 o'clock game and a 4:25 game. Freiermuth is playing the Raiders. Great matchup there. Then you've got Nkonkwo playing the Browns. Not the best matchup, but it's fine. Komet versus the Chiefs, yeah. So that's great. I mean, you got the Komet stack with Fields. They got the Chiefs. Great matchup. I don't feel like Nkonkwo was necessary. I think Freiermuth and Komet are fine. I mean, it doesn't hurt you, but I think you could have gone with another position there. But I'm not sure. Maybe you weren't sure if Komet was going to fall out or not. But I think Freiermuth and Komet is fine. But having that third tight end is not going to hurt anything. All right, Bijan in week 3 has got the Lions. That's fine. They improved on the run defense throughout the year, but it's Bijan. It's fine. Jaguars got the Texans, so the ETN pick is great. Akers has got the Bengals. Could be a high-scoring game. They could be playing from behind. Roshan Johnson has got the Chiefs. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're happy with all those guys' matchups in week 3, then you don't exactly need the depth, but you could have gone with another running back over Chig. Like, I don't mind Roshan Johnson there, but I think Donta Foreman in week 3 is going to be getting more touches than Roshan, so I would have gone Foreman personally. Wide receivers, we got Adams versus the Steelers. That should be fine. Drake London has got the Lions. That's good. Pickens. It's the Raiders. That's good. I do like that. That just feels like a good overall matchup. Treylon Burks versus the Browns. So you like that matchup. Titans-Browns. The Browns defense looks pretty good on paper right now. Raiders versus Steelers again with Jacoby Myers. John Mechie versus the Jaguars. I don't know if I love that, but in the 15th round, it's fine. Slayton and Robinson. Giants are playing the Niners on Thursday Night Football. Could be really bad, could be really good. I don't love Thursday night matchups, but the Niners were not good against opposing wide receivers last year. And then Nathaniel Dell, once again, you've got the Jaguars. So late round picks, late round wide receivers, I don't really, those are fine. Yeah, I mean, overall, team looks pretty good. So I think you exploited your matchups well. How much is the weekly winner buy-in? Y'all should do one for every week. Wish I could join. The buy-in is $15. You know, and that's the thing. Like, even if it doesn't work out, you know, these are the prizes each week. Okay, 3.5 million in total prizes. These are the prizes each week. So, you know, at worst, maybe you make your deposit back or $5 less than your deposit back. Worst case scenario, you don't make a deposit at all. But if you just really hit on the right week, even if you can get in the top 10 for the week, it's a pretty decent payoff. Maybe in the top 20. I mean, quite frankly, the top 50 is not a bad payout. So, but obviously you want to kind of aim for, I don't know, top 5 prizes, right, each week. But that's the thing. Like I said, even if you're specifically going after one particular week, it doesn't mean you're building a bad team for the entire season. All right, here's what we came up with. Hurts versus the Rams, T-Law versus the Bills, Jacobs versus Packers. Hopefully he's out there. I ran out of time. Didn't mean to make that pick, but we'll live with it. Pacheco versus the Vikings, Dillon versus the Raiders, Algier versus the Texans, Gainwell versus the Rams, CeeDee Lamb versus the Niners, Ridley versus the Bills. We've got him stacked with T-Law. Hollywood Brown versus the Bengals, hopefully playing from behind. Tyler Boyd versus the Cardinals. Hopefully they are so bad that Tyler Boyd's actually involved. Rashee Rice versus the Vikings. Jaden Reed versus the Raiders. Paris Campbell versus Miami. Quez Watkins versus the Rams with my last pick. I mean, just on the off chance he catches a touchdown from Jalen Hurts, we'll take it. Evan Engram stacked once again with T-Law versus the Bills, Dalton Schultz versus the Falcons, and Trey McBride versus the Bengals. So, pretty solid entry overall. J-Dub says that Josh Jacobs pick, though, yeah. I mean, I was going to go ETN or Gibbs, and I'm pretty sure I clicked Gibbs, but I just ran out of time, so it's okay. If he's out there, I like that matchup versus the Packers. I don't love that matchup for Raiders wide receivers. I mean, like, Adams is fine, but yeah, Jacobs, if he's out there, is fine. But yeah, I don't love that pick. Overall, in conjunction with the rest of the entries I have for week 5, I don't mind this entry. And also, it's just different. Like, yeah, I mean, I would take Gibbs all day as well, for sure. But when I can, like, sit down and just focus on a draft as compared to do it on the stream, of course, there's a little bit more going on overall. So these things happen. But even, like, the other night when I accidentally picked Tua over DeAndre Swift on an off-air draft, like, you know, these things just happen when you're drafting. So you want to avoid it, but it is what it is. All right, guys, so there is my favorite weekly winner strategy through Underdog. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you guys for coming out tonight, talking fantasy, hanging out, watching me draft. J-Dubs, thank you for drafting with me. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. So hopefully the stream was helpful if you guys are planning on making some entries into the weekly winners tournament. And that'll wrap it up for the night. So do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button on the way out. If you guys are new and you tuned in, thank you for being here. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Check out our links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join our free Discord. And, of course, you can double your first deposit up to $100 with promo code TheCatch. Promo link in the description down below and on the screen, all that good stuff. Everyone has Underdog code by now, but mine is cooler. So that'll do it for the night, guys. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Thank you guys for being here tonight. You guys know who you are. And I'll talk to you guys soon. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And